Right. Gas prices are too high. This not-so-shocking revelation by the Minister of Economic Affairs as he says government is working to address the vexing issue. First on our news. Plus, 10 major UK companies equals $1 billion up for grabs for Bahamians. We'll tell you about the various investment opportunities. And later, it's World Teachers' Day. Those in the most noble professions celebrated around the world and here at home. Then in our news at 7:30. West Grand, Bahama and Bimini residents are ready to head to the polls following the loss of their beloved parliamentarian. We've got the details on these stories and more as Our News Live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Well, a day after government's new fiscal roadmap was unveiled in the speech from the throne, the Economic Affairs Minister admitting the burden on consumers caused by soaring fuel prices is too much to bear. A fill-up at the pumps now costing motorists more than $6 a gallon. This as government standoff with petroleum retailers over a profit margin increase continues. We've got more on the solutions being looked at in a moment, but first. Prosecutors on a Thursday asked for an adjournment in the high-profile case of an American woman accused of plotting to kill her estranged husband along with two Bahamian men. Lindsay Shiver, her boyfriend Terrence Bethel, and alleged hitman Farron Newbolt Jr. made a brief appearance before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. They are accused of conspiring to kill Shiver's husband, Robert, on July 16th. However, the prosecutor, Sergeant Cordero Farrington, said the documents weren't ready and asked for the matter to be put off until December 1st. Shiver's lawyer, Owen Wells, asked the matter be brought up earlier if possible. He said that Shiver's bail's condition restricted her from leaving the country and that she was eager to see her 3 children. The matter has been adjourned to December 1st, but Reckley has scheduled November 6th for a status report. Meantime, a 34-year-old Brazilian pilot is now in police custody in connection with a large drug bust that happened back in August on Long Island. Officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit arrested the man on Tuesday. You may recall that 2 Bahamian men were arrested in connection with this matter. At the time, police told the media that the incident occurred just before midnight on August 6 at Stella Maris Airport. It was at that time police found 21 white crocus sack bags of cocaine on board a blue and white Aztec aircraft. Investigations into this matter are continuing. While thick plumes of black smoke billowed into the Angerson New Providence skyline this afternoon after the Universal Car Links building caught fire. When Our News arrived on the scene a short distance from our studios, there were 3 fire trucks ready to assist. Our cameras capturing these images of firemen as they worked to put out the fire. The eastern side of the building on Wolf Road near Palm Beach Street fully engulfed. Police tell us they got a call around 3:48 this afternoon, the first unit arriving shortly after 4 p.m. An inspector on the scene confirmed 2 persons were injured. One of them, who you are seeing on the screen right now, walking away with burns on his left arm and legs. The video also showing an ambulance pulling up to the scene. Now, we did not see the other victim, but we do know at least one of them was taken to hospital for medical treatment. Gas prices are too high. That's according to Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis. He says the government is looking at ways to fix the issue of escalating gas prices. It comes as gas prices are as high as $6.17 per gallon.
I know it's vexing. I looked this morning, quite frankly, I saw everything is like between 6.11 and 6.17. It's high. It's too high, in my opinion. That is why I say we're looking at, exploring some ways and how we can change the way we do things.
Talks in that regard are in the preliminary stages, so the minister is asking the public to be patient. His comments come after the Petroleum Retailers Association was agitating for an increase in fuel margins. Halkida says the government's position remains the same. That is, the government will not do anything that will result in an increase at the pumps for consumers. He admits it's a difficult situation.
That is why we were able to reach out with them and offer them some element of relief that I had discussed previously. And so we continue to talk. I had a brief conversation just before I left for the promotional tour, where an additional idea was sort of floated. We have to sort of hash it out.
Well, it's now time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie is standing by in the Weather Center. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Here's your first look at weather. Currently outside our studios, we're under mostly clear skies with a temperature of 83. Our winds are from the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour with a feels-like temperature of 91. Take a look at the temperatures across the country at this time in our nation's second city, Freeport. We have 82, 81 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco, a set of 83s in Allenstown, Great Harbor Key, Nicholstown, Andros, the capital, and in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera. In the central Bahamas, we have 83 in Camp Spade, Georgetown, and Arthurstown, Kidd Island, and 84s in Coburn Town, San Salvador, and Deadman's Key, Long Island. For the southeast Bahamas, we have 84 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, a set of 83s in Colonel Hill, and Delectable Bay, Aucklands, and Abrahams Bay, Mayaguana, and hotspot tonight coming in Matthew Town at 85 degrees. Here's your first look at satellite and radar imagery at this time across the northwest Bahamas. Not much of a concern in terms of clouds or any activity. In the central and southeast Bahamas, we still have a few pockets of clouds moving towards the northeast, and that is all courtesy of Tropical Storm Philippe. That's well to the east of our area. The good news is Tropical Storm Philippe is expected to impact us, and it is going to absorb all the available moisture, so that spells good news, Bahamas. Stay tuned, your extended forecast and your tropical weather outlook is still to come.
Still to come on our news, over $1 billion worth of deals are up for discussion. Find out if your business falls within the industries eligible for investment. And speaking of investment, it's World Investor Week. Is your portfolio ready for global opportunities? And later, strengthening climate resiliency. Our Marlena Leonard dives deep into how the insurance industry can make a difference. That's coming up when our news returns.
Walk it.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace
10 major British companies are in the country this week on the first trade mission in decades. The mission comes after Prime Minister Philip Davis spoke at the British House of Lords in May and invited British businesses to come to the Bahamas. Our Marlena Leonard reports.
The Bahamas is seeing its first British trade mission in over 20 years this week, and over $1 billion of deals are on the table. Here's British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley describing the range of industries covered on this mission.
Everything from infrastructure to transport to water and sewage to energy and solar. There's some very high reputation British companies here want to invest into the Bahamas and want to be part of bringing Britain and the Bahamas closer together.
It was the Caribbean Council that invited Prime Minister Davis to speak at the House of Lords event in May. Managing Director of the Caribbean Council, Chris Bennett, says there are a number of things that attracted British companies to the Bahamas.
It's English speaking, it has the same common law that we have. There were an awful lot of commonalities. And one of the other ingredients is the new trade agreement that's been signed between the CARIFORUM and the UK, which provides two-way reductions in tariffs, which also means that it's cheaper and better for Bahamians to buy UK products.
And Hartley says lower costs for Bahamians and interest in more long-term investment from British businesses make this timing an ideal match.
Really understand that the Bahamas' proximity to the US makes people feel like the US is going to be cheaper. It's just not true. The Bahamas has a trade agreement with the UK, which means lots of tariffs for buying from the UK have gone. There's 0% tariffs on lots of things, but there's still tariffs on the US, so it's actually cheaper here. And the way that shipping works, it doesn't matter whether you're bringing a shipping container from the UK or Japan or from Miami, they're normally about the same price. That they invest ethically, they hire locally, they want to be sustainable. And companies have already, who are already signing up, already investing in things like scholarships. And they're not just to invest and make profit and go. They're here for the long run, and they're here for a positive relationship.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks, Marlena. Well, it's important to learn how to put together an investment portfolio in a world where markets are often rocked by global crisis. And RF Bank and Trust hopes to help teach people that skill as they celebrate World Investor Week this week under the theme Thriving Amidst Turbulence. Vice President and Group Head of Investment for RF Bank and Trust, David Slater, talks investor resilience.
When you're a small business owner, things happen at the margin, and when you have something like the pandemic, it can be detrimental to revenue inflows and really put a strain on the ability to keep the business going. So I think we're going to have a lot of small business owners here and also individuals that are just interested in how to improve their own situation. You can definitely track what's going on. If you can't make it here in person, you can go on our Facebook page or BISIC's Facebook page, and I'm going to read it because I don't remember it offhand. So forgive me. So at RF Bank Trust or at BISIC's Exchange, and you can become as informed as everybody who's here attending as well.
The events are being held in partnership with the Bahamas International Securities Exchange, also known as BizX. Chief Operating Officer Holland Grant says there's one major lesson he hopes people can take away.
Risk equals return. I'm also a part-time lecturer at UB, and I always tell my students, if you leave my class and you forget everything else, never forget that. I think a lot of people come with a very mixed up understanding of what's an appropriate risk that leads to an appropriate level of return. So the idea that we always try to get apart is being able to price risk so that you're at a comfortable level and when you achieve a return. So do your research, learn about investing, and learn about risk.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As the war on Ukraine continues, Russia's latest attack leaving at least 50 dead. Plus, U.S. President Biden calling on leaders to change the poisonous atmosphere in Washington. We'll tell you why. And from the region, CARICOM leaders welcome to the first Canada-CARICOM Summit on Canadian soil. We have the details when our news returns.
So you need a part for your car.
You need a water pump for 2014 Honda Accord. Don't worry, man. I can send you to my boy. You can be straight.
But his boy isn't WimAuto.com.
Hello?
You say you looking for a water pump, right?
They made you question if you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
It did not. Luckily, WimAuto.com lets you search for parts by year, make, and model.
Found it.
Plus, you can pay online for pickup or next weekday delivery.
I have a guide for that. Actually, a website.
Save time and shop with confidence on WimAuto.com.
Favorite Bahamian artist of all time. I'll give you some time to think with it.
The greatest Bahamian song was recorded by the beginning of the end, Funky Nassau.
We're in a day and age where things can be different and still be authentically Bahamian because it's the Bahamian people bringing it to you.
Junkin was like the heart and soul of the Bahamian culture.
Technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. A Russian attack killed at least 49 people, including a 6-year-old boy, in a village in northeastern Ukraine on Thursday. Ukrainian officials confirmed a cafe and a shop had been attacked and that many civilians had been there at the time. Officials posted footage of rescue workers clambering through smoldering rubble. This as bodies lay alongside slabs of concrete and twisted metal. It was not immediately clear whether Russian forces who invaded Ukraine 19 months ago had shelled the village or had fired a missile. U.S. President Joe Biden called on political leaders on Wednesday to change what he called the poisonous atmosphere in Washington and work on a new spending plan before a hastily approved short-term measure expires in weeks. The comments come after a small group of Republicans ousted U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy from the role, causing chaos in the legislative body. Republicans have set an October 11th vote to choose a successor.
The House will now reorganize and select a new speaker. I know it's going to take some time, but I remind everyone we have a lot of work to do, and the American people expect us to get it done. The argument we reached was all about what comes next, but we had an agreement. We reached an agreement over the weekend. Funds for government, only another 40 days. We cannot and should not again be faced with an 11th hour decision of brinksmanship that threatens to shut down the government. We need to stop seeing each other as enemies. We need to talk to one another, listen to one another, work with one another, and we can do that. I join with Minority Leader Jeffries in saying that our Republican colleagues remain committed to working in a bipartisan fashion. We were prepared to do it as well, for the good of the American people.
The world's September temperatures were the warmest on record, breaking the previous high by a huge margin, according to the EU Climate Service. Last month was 33 degrees warmer than the average September temperature between 1991 and 2020, and 32 degrees hotter than the previous record set in 2020. Experts believe ongoing emissions of warming gases, in addition to the El Niño weather event, are driving the heat. They say 2023 is now on track to be the warmest on record. And finally, from the region, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced that he will welcome leaders from the Caribbean community to Ottawa for the first Canada-CARICOM Summit on Canadian soil. He will co-chair the summit from October 17th through the 19th, alongside Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, the current chair of CARICOM. Under the theme, Strategic Partners for a Resilient Future, the Prime Minister and CARICOM leaders will advance shared priorities, including building inclusive and sustainable economies. Public-private partnerships between the government and the insurance industry could help strengthen climate resiliency and confidence in potential investors, according to an IDB executive. This coming out of a press conference after the Climate Finance in the Americas meeting held this week. Our Marlena Leonard has more in this report.
Bahamas first, putting sustainability first for our people and our environment. What's first for you and the planet comes first for us.
I think the insurance industry is an example of where we need to have greater and deeper outreach from the very beginning, planning and design of projects, right through to investment and structuring of projects.
That's Executive Vice President of the Inter-American Development Bank, Jordan Schwartz, responding to our question on how multilateral development banks would feel about insurance companies partnering with governments to work on climate resilience. Just last month, members of the Bahamas Insurance Association expressed a desire to have a seat at the table when it comes to the country's development.
The best time to talk about resilience and preventative actions or activities is really at the point where you're trying to develop a strategy for dealing with the issues that are going to be impacted by the decisions that you make. So, for example, if you're looking at the building code, we've got a lot of data that speaks to how resilient some of the building formats were, and we can add value to that conversation.
Public-private partnerships and investing in prevention came up often at the press conference after the Climate Finance in the Americas meeting.
Your question went to one specific suggestion, which is that engagement with the insurance industry up front would help us and governments in planning what investments would look like to understand what the returns would be from greater resilience. And I think that that is exactly the kind of collaboration, discussion, outreach that we're talking about in public-private partnership.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Still to come in Our News, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was October 5th. Plus, Beyonce already told us that girls run the world, and Alive has now picked up the torch, hosting a full day of women's empowerment. You don't want to miss it. And then in Our News at 7:30, the rector of Pro Cathedral Christ the King Church clears up information regarding funeral arrangements for West Grand, Bahama and Bimini MP, Obi Wilshcombe. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus,
welcome back to Our News. Around the world, October 5th is being celebrated as World Teachers Day. It's a day when the men and women who dedicate their lives to teaching and training students are appreciated for their efforts in and out of the classroom. Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson had this message for the thousands of teachers across the country.
World Teachers Day 2023, celebrating under the theme, the teachers we need for the education we want. The global imperative to reverse the teachers' shortage. From Grand Bahama to Inagua. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I say thank you for your hard work and your dedication to our nation's children. But remember to pause and enjoy your day.
Many have different opinions about teachers. Wilson says they are important as they are the bedrock of our society.
We teach all other professions. Education is the basic fundamental principle to build a successful nation. So we are the profession of professions. Just pause for a moment and imagine a world without teachers. So today,
well, it's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was October 5th.
On October 5th, 2010, 9 men died when a Cessna aircraft headed for San Salvador for the Discovery Day weekend festival crashed into waters at Lake Killarney. Among the victims, pilot Nelson Hannon, Nathaniel Williams, Chet Johnson, Corey Farquharson, Junior Lubin, Devon Storr, Shanoin Milo, Delon Taylor, and LaVard Curtis. An investigation into the flight revealed the twin-engine plane was 523 pounds overweight. And because there was no voice recorder on board, investigators had no idea of their last moments alive. At the time of the incident, we spoke with Muriel Sullivan about the pilot, who he remembered as one of the best in the industry. Activist and musician Tennille Burrows also at the time remembering the life of well-known sound technician Nat Williams.
It's a burden right now, especially, in the aviation family out there. Everyone is tight-knit, everyone knows one another, so, it's not good right now. Everyone is grieving, and me and him were in communication, I think, as late as Saturday, I think it was. We spoke about me helping him out on his days off.
Nat was one of the foremost founders of the Bahamian sound engineering industry. He's done work with everyone. Caribbean Gospel Music Marlon Awards, the Music Momentum Summit, Fam Fest was a close affiliate of his, and he was definitely like fat and jolly. And he was like one of the daddies, big brothers type of thing in the industry.
Alive's Day of Female Empowerment, full of international and local speakers and networking opportunities, is back by popular demand on October 12th. This year's event, called Inspire Her, will be held in the Atlantis Grand Ballroom. Strategic Partnerships Coordinator Imani Roberts.
It's basically for any woman who wants to feel empowered, enriched, and elevated in this experience that we're going to have. We have international speakers coming in and also some local speakers as well. We just wanted to make sure that everyone feels enriched by this engagement that we're having. This event is going to be so much fun. We're going to have entertainment, and it's a lot of wonderful, really women empowered things that we're going to be doing. We definitely have moments where we can mix and mingle to network, and we have interactive sessions so that you can network while a part of the event.
The event features international keynote speakers Maya Watson and Shauna Spenley, as well as local Bahamian keynote speakers Ianthea Ferguson and Shaquille Sands. Robert says the event is an evolved continuation from last year's High Heels in High Places.
It's just like the one from last year, the High Heels in High Places, but it's just rebranded to inspire her. The evening session for our empowered women is for $50. It starts at 5 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. You can get your tickets at the Harbor Bay location and also at our Cable Beach location. Yes, and in the morning we have it for our students. We have invited all of the schools in Nassau, and also we do have tickets for sale for $35 for our students.
Now to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, visit ournews.bs. That does it for Our News Live at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall with the latest headlines.
Thanks so much, Megan. Well, West Grand Bahama and Bimini residents ready to head to the polls following the loss of their beloved parliamentarian. And an Anglican rector is clarifying funeral arrangements for the late Obi Wilshcombe. Here are your latest headlines. Election fever first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. Residents in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency turning out to register for the upcoming by-election. Our Jamila Mizik has the story coming up. Also, we get a much clearer picture of the funeral services being held for the constituency's falling member of parliament. Plus, the long-standing issue of poaching in Bahamian waters may soon be addressed. The new Minister of Marine Resources speaks. And later, an action plan for sustainable development following regional meetings on climate finance this week. Our News Live at 7:30 is back in a moment.
Doctors Hospital is reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Favorite Bahamian artist of all time? I'll give you some time to think with it.
The greatest Bahamian song was recorded by the beginning of the end, Funky Nassau.
We're in a day and age where things can be different and still be authentically Bahamian because it's the Bahamian people bringing it to you.
Junkin was like the heart and soul of the Bahamian culture.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Welcome to our news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. While a formal announcement has not yet been made, officials tells us residents in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency are readying themselves to cast their votes for an upcoming by-election. Our Jamila Mizik reports.
While voter registration is a continual process, eligible voters in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini district have begun ensuring that their voice matters in the upcoming by-election. A by-election awaits following the death of the current Member of Parliament Obi Wilchcombe, who passed away on the morning of September 25th, leaving that seat vacant. But who is eligible to vote? Administrator for the West Grand Bahama District, Leonard Dames, explains.
First, they have to be a Bahamian. Secondly, they have to be 18 years and older. Thirdly, they have to not be subject to any kind of legal incapacity. And finally, they have to be residing in that district, in that constituency, for a period of 3 months.
And if you meet those requirements, here's what you'll need to bring.
They can either bring a passport, they can bring their birth certificate, but with their birth certificate, if they are born after 1973, they have to bring their mother's birth certificate along with a national insurance card. If they have a naturalization card, along with an accompanying document as for birth certificate and an NIB card.
Now, while no official date has been set for the by-election, Dame says since Monday, there's been an influx of persons registering to vote, including first-time voters, transfers, and replacement cards for those on the current register.
There's a short window that we don't know exactly when the announcement would be made, and once the announcement and notification will be made of an election, then all registration will cease.
Now, registration hours are Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., and then again at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., on Saturday at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on Sunday 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jamila Mizik.
All right, thanks for that, Jamila. Well, the state funeral for the late Obi Wilchcombe now moved to New Providence. The news came as a surprise for some Grand Bahamians, as initially it was announced that it would be held in Grand Bahama. But in an exclusive interview with Our News, the rector of the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King confirmed that a funeral service will also be held in Grand Bahama 2 days after the state funeral.
In a state service, the state has a greater input and contribution as far as the service is concerned.
That's Canon Norman Lightbourne explaining the state funeral arrangements for the late Social Services Information and Broadcasting Minister Obi Wilchcombe. The state funeral will now be held on Thursday, October 12th in New Providence at Christ Church Cathedral. As for the funeral service in Grand Bahama, that will be held on Saturday, October 14th at the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King at 10 a.m.
I'm thinking the reason why the government has agreed to have these two services is to accommodate everyone. The state will have its say in the first service, in the second service, the family will have their say.
Now, some Grand Bahamians are expressing their disappointment with the state funeral now in the capital, as they say Wilchcombe is from Grand Bahama. Canon Lightbourne is aware of the concern, and while he will not be participating in the state funeral in the capital, he says both services will almost be the same.
He's not going to be shortchanged in a service here at Christ the King. He'll be given full burial rites and a wonderful Christian service. So, they're not going to be disappointed. We're going to give him a good send-off.
The Eucharistic service in Freeport is expected to attract residents from Bimini as well.
This church can hold 500 people easily, but we are still hoping to bring in a number of chairs, and the overflow, we're going to have something set up in the parish hall.
Immediately after the service, the procession will travel to West End for the committal.
Because this is Mr. Wilchcombe's wish, that he be buried next to his father in West End.
All right, while a teen facing an attempted murder charge has been granted emergency bail, prosecutors say the 16-year-old boy stabbed another boy of the same age during a fight last month. The incident happened in Pinewood Gardens. The teen was remanded to the Simpson Penn School for Boys after being charged with attempted murder. However, Justice Gregory Hilton set his bail at $9,500 during an emergency hearing. Now the teen returns to court on January 31st, 2024 to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. As local fishermen continue to battle the long-standing issue of poaching, Marine Resources Minister Jomo Campbell says talks are underway to enhance prevention. Speaking at the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing, Campbell revealed it may require a collaborative approach.
The main priorities for us is prevention and detection. And so conversations are being had with certain persons as it relates to GIS and tracking and detection systems, IT systems that we can use, because if we can detect fishing boats that are coming into our waters that shouldn't be here, and we have a collaborative effort with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force who patrol our seas, prevention is always better than cure.
Now, at the start of the lobster season, fishermen told a local daily their lobster traps were plundered before the August 1st opening. They're calling on government to do more to protect their livelihood. His comments come as there will be a regional conference to address fishery issues.
We will also be hosting a special session of the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism Ministerial Council, where we will flesh out all of these issues, because the Bahamas doesn't face the nightmare of poaching alone. And so what we want to do is get a collaborative approach as to how we as a region can stem the tide of illegal poaching in our waters.
All right, well, a nice evening on this Thursday. There's only one day left in the work week. Making any big plans for the weekend? Well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie is in the Weather Center with a first look at weather. Ian?
Thanks, Italia, and good evening, Bahamas. Here's your first look at weather. Currently outside our studios, we're under mostly clear skies with a temperature of 83. Our winds are from the northeast at 6 miles per hour with a feels like temperature of 93. Taking a first look at our satellite and radar imagery at this time, not much activity across the northwest Bahamas. In the central and southeast Bahamas, few spotty clouds, not much of a concern at all. We have Tropical Storm Philippe well to the east of our area. Stick around, we'll tell you more about that and our extended forecast straight ahead.
Still to come on our news, the climate finance in the American meetings dubbed a huge success. The Economic Affairs Minister Michael Helkidis is weighing in. Also, are you ready to get your Christmas shopping started? Well, our Megan Shepherd may have the perfect gift spot when our news continues.
Here at Solomon's, we're all about family. We believe in quality.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
There is now a declaration of Nassau relating to climate finance, as well as a declaration and action plan for sustainable development, thanks to the regional meeting surrounding climate finance and sustainable development held at Atlantis this week. On Monday, the Climate Finance in the Americas meeting was charged by Prime Minister Davis, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, the fourth Inter-American meeting of ministers and high-level authorities on sustainable development was chaired by Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis. He says both events were a success.
The aim is we recognize that many countries, not only the Bahamas, and you've heard the Prime Minister speak of the amount of our national debt that is attributable directly to our response to climate events. And interestingly, during the course of the conference, we had many other countries echo that their national debt, 40% to 60%, attributable to their having to respond to climate events, those who have to deal with hurricanes, but also in the region, floods, earthquakes, and other events as such. And the common problem being resources having to be diverted from other important uses such as health, education, security, to mitigation and responding to natural disaster.
The Economic Affairs Minister says showing a strong front on those shared sentiments may help negotiations at larger forums like the upcoming COP28.
It was a very successful conference, and so now what we will do is that these documents, the Declaration on Climate Finance and the Declaration on Sustainable Development, they would be, the COP28 conference is in the end of November into the beginning of December in Dubai, and so what will happen is these declarations will be now taken to COP as a common hemispheric position. And so all these countries in the Western Hemisphere who are members of the Organization of American States will be able to go and say this is our common position, and it's a point that strengthens our negotiating position at the COP.
All right, well, the year is quickly winding down, which means you may want to start considering your holiday gift list, or you may just be in the market for a gift for another reason. Well, small business owners at the Nassau Cru Port want you to consider shopping local and, more importantly, thinking Bahamian. Tonight, our Megan Shepherd takes you inside the marketplace at the Nassau Cru Port. Let's take a look.
It all started back in 2021 when the Nassau Cru Port decided that as a part of their multi-million-dollar renovations, they wanted to ensure that authentically Bahamian would be a major part of their identity. Communications manager Amanda Friedman says, within the 11 acres of brand new retail space, you're sure to find anything from food and beverage, entertainment, and of course, small businesses to support.
So you can find anything in this area, from straw work to clothing to conch shell jewelry to Great Bahamian food and drinks.
Small business owner and proprietor of Tiff's Gallery, Tiffany Barnett, says since moving within the retail space, business has been doing well.
It's been above and beyond. I've been doing very well. The reception has been better than I could have imagined.
Over at Troppyville, Marie Francis is looking to meet all of your culinary needs.
The stuff that we have here, it's grown here. The guavas, the pineapples, the peppers, they made from Andros, where we bring them over and process them, and in the factory where we make all the pepper sauces and everything, the jams. It's all authentic Bahamian.
If you're in the market to satisfy your sweet tooth, owner of the Beehive, Marcia Musgrove, says she and her husband husband produce products from 100% all-natural Bahamian honey.
It's local. It's them from the island of Exuma. My husband and I, we have one of the largest bee farms on the island.
And although the port was redesigned to welcome millions of tourists to our shores, it is also more than open to residents.
We have a wide variety of Bahamian-made authentic gifts. And when you have that special someone coming in to the island and you want to give them something to take back home, this is the place to find it.
You could also stop by and get your local jerk sauces. It's really good. And everything else, the jams, the pepper sauces, local stuff.
And come and check us out. We have local honey, all natural. We have a lot of stuff here in the port that is all Bahamian.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Jazz Chisholm in the Marlins season ends, and a youth sporting official has a tournament renamed in her honor. Don't go anywhere, our sports is coming up next.
Nice weather outside the Our News studios this evening as we move closer to the weekend. Ian is back with more weather details when Our News returns.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
This is our news. Welcome back. Jazz Chisholm and his Marlins have been eliminated from the baseball postseason, and a youth soccer tournament has a new name. Here's Tage Adderley with a check on sports. Tage?
Thanks, Ataya. Good evening. Welcome to Our Sports. I'm Tage Adderley. Jazz Chisholm and his Miami Marlins season came to an end last night as they lost to Philly, ending their wild card series and their season. Jazz Chisholm and his Marlins season came to an unceremonious ending last night as they lost to the Philadelphia Phillies 7-1 in Philly. Jazz was hitless in the game, going 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Phillies hitters feasted on Marlins pitchers, knocking starter Braxton Barrett out of the game after he gave up 2 home runs in 3 innings. His replacements didn't fare much better, giving up 5 more runs in the game. JP Realmuto and Bryson Stott hit home runs for the Phillies. Stott's was a grand slam in the 6th inning to bust the game wide open. Bringing things a little closer to home, a primary school soccer tournament now has a new name. The Bahamas Football Association has announced that the New Providence Primary School Soccer Tournament will be renamed the Don Knowles Primary School Soccer Tournament. Knowles served as Senior Education Officer for 28 years for physical education in the Ministry of Education. In that role, she was instrumental in founding the tournament and managing it. Now, that tournament will run October 17th to November 8th at Roscoe A. Davies Field. That'll do it for sports this evening. I'm Tage Adderley.
And another nice day around the islands on this Thursday as the work week winds down. Ian is back in the Weather Center with your extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Welcome back to our news. A cool evening on this Thursday as we inch closer and closer towards the weekend. Ian is back in the Weather Center with your extended forecast. Ian?
Thanks, Natalia. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We begin with our tropical weather outlook first, where we have Tropical Storm Philippe, who's finally decided to make that northward track. However, we still have a trailing trough associated with it, and this should spread some showers across the northern Leeward Islands as Philippe makes his trek, just skirting Bermuda and then headed towards the Atlantic portion of the northeast coast and Canada. Here's a look at Philippe at this time, where he'll be making that northward track, just skirting Bermuda around 8 p.m. tomorrow. They should see about 3 to 5 inches of rainfall across that area. And like I said earlier, it'll be continuing to make that northward track towards Maine, probably New England area, and Nova Scotia, Canada. Taking a look at a boating forecast at this time across all areas, we have a small craft caution is in effect. That is due to those subsiding northeasterly swells. Also, rip currents are there for you swimmers. Winds will be variable at 10 knots or less. Seas 1 to 3 feet, but up to 6 feet in those northeasterly swells. You can expect the low tide tonight at 7:53 p.m. High tide tomorrow morning at 1:42 a.m. Here's a look at your national forecast. And in your extended forecast, we see lovely conditions across the capital into about Monday. Remember, folks, this is a holiday weekend. We see some showers returning on Tuesday, back to work. Wednesday, 1 or 2 spotty showers here or there. We're looking at those highs getting up into the upper 80s, low 90s, low temperatures, mid to upper 70s. Have a great night, everyone, and thanks for joining.
All right, thanks so much, Ian, and thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.